Welcome to the Makai Lemon film breakdown. Really interesting prospect here with some very distinct strengths and weaknesses. Looking like he's going to be my wide receiver one in the class. A lot still to be determined there, but we have a really impressive guy whose skills translate directly to the NFL game. Excited to get into the film here. We're going to start off with the stats as always, though. What first stands out is his player type here, and you can see between the contested catch rate, the really low drop rate, the missed tackles forced. He's a player who has elite ball skills and elite yak ability. It shows up all over the stats, it shows up all over the film. That, of course, is going to be a big part of the analysis here today. Of course, this is a pretty much a slot only player. We did see a few snaps outside, some of them with some interesting upside, but his body type and his overall skill set is really made more for the slot. You can see that with the average depth of target here as well. I wouldn't actually focus on that too much because he is a threat down the field. That more has to do with being used in the screen game a fair amount as well. Overall, you can see the production here, of course, is elite, especially in 24 and 25. Not only did he get almost to 100 yards per game in 25, but throughout this time, he's up around 3 yards per route run, high 20s in targets per route run, and 13 to 14% first downs per route run. These are all elite numbers, and of course, got even higher here when USC did not have a good passing game, yet he was still quite elite. And this is again while sharing the field with guys like Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch. It's not like he was in an empty receiving room either. In terms of his draft capital, he's projected right now to go in the middle of the first round. Some differences whether he's the wide receiver one, two, or three on most people's boards, but it is really Tate Lemon Tyson, most commonly being mocked in the middle of the first round here. Typically to teams like, Miami at 11, maybe the Rams at 13, maybe the Jets at 16, looking at that type of range for Makai Lemon. For me, 91st percentile star tier, that ranks 12th of receivers since 2018, so he's really the wide receiver two in a typical class. Closer to a guy like Ted McMillan, Chris Olave, rather than a guy like Jamar Chase, if you want to think about it that way. And as far as his player comps, Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously would be the most optimistic of these comps. He does fit a little bit into the kind of Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, slot only, run after the catch type profile, except he is more built and able to withstand run blocking more, as well as some more physical matchups sometimes, which might lend him a little bit more towards that ARSB ceiling. We'll start off here with his ball skills, which are clearly the highlight of his game for a player only, 5'11", 6 foot, 200 pounds, really plays bigger than that size and has unbelievably sticky hands. See here at the top of the screen, this is a pretty easy one. Coming over the middle takes a hit. You like to see this, especially guys who are going to be in the slot. Can come against zone. You see he catches the ball, secures it very quickly, tucks it under that right arm, which allows him to take the hit on the left side. Nothing gets jarred loose. Pretty simple one to start, don't worry. They get more impressive. Another one's that just, first of all, let's see how good this route is against zone. How he runs this is crucial, right? Because you see he's working to get up here into this area. And he's got two ways to do it. He can either come inside here, avoid this zone chucker, keep this safety down here, keep this safety up here, and then you have this zone. That's what he does, right? By going here, he keeps this safety facing middle because he was just coming up here for the post and keeps him having to watch here without sinking middle as well. Now, if instead we go back a few seconds, if instead you see him go outside here, what's going to happen then? First of all, this could be a better chuck, but more so, he's going to be over here, so this guy's going to completely sink down, but he can cover both of them. Instead, by going inside here, giving himself a two-way out, he's able to attack this region. And now we see the catch Pretty simplistic again. They're just hitting him in the back. But he's able to turn. What I like about this is a lot of players, especially when their back is to upfield, when they're facing the quarterback, they'll use their biceps here, they'll use their chest. That is a clean hands catch, tuck, take the hit. It never gets jarred loose. All right, now we see him top of the screen. Let's go full speed to start. Little sluggo there. Doesn't get a whole lot on the double move, but it's the late separation. You can see it best from this angle. So you'll see he dictates the term of the arrangement early on. He doesn't get that much vertical leverage on him. But by establishing here, putting his arm right there, this is how he's going to create separation. It's just a few inches there, but there he can extend his arm and create just enough separation, show those late hands, and make the catch. You'll see it again from this angle even better. All right, looks like he's covered, looks like he's covered. He's the one controlling this relationship here. So then as we keep going, gets that little shove off. It's subtle. It's not going to get called. Again, clean hands catch. Once again, you're going to see a slot fade here. In the slot, going to come up here. Doesn't get a whole lot of separation again. But once again, it's first of all leading himself enough room on the outside here with the slot fade. You're going to have that room to the outside. It's creating horizontal separation because he wasn't able to get vertical. And you'll see this is enough for him to establish that arm contact and show late hands again. This time it's fighting through the contact. Boxing out. This is the good ball tracking that you see. Boxing out the defender and just making the back hip catch. Through contact. It's a one-handed catch. It looked like a one-handed catch. He was being interfered with this whole time. Yeah, his left hand's being held down. Sticks up that right arm. That's a really tough catch. That shows how good just the hands are, the ability to fight through contact. All right, we got a rare outside route here. Let's see how he does against press. Not too physical of a press. It's a really nice curl route there. He sometimes struggles with his decel routes. Let's go back to full speed to watch this. But it's a nice arm swipe at the top of the route, come back, and you can see the hands coming back, which I love. One of the things that a lot of players struggle with is the ability to get under the ball coming back to it. They'll trap the ball a lot here. He does a great job getting under it, not using his forearms, not letting anything hop in, and it's just a clean coming back there. Really nice job.
Let's see what he does here, working out of the slot once again. Let's speed this up. Oh yeah, we all remember this route. All right, so first let's focus on the route here because he runs this a few times. I think in this Iowa game he runs it a few times. But what we're looking at is a corner post. So pretty simple coming out here. But what I love is the blind spot manipulation here, and we get to see it really well. I'll slow it down. So, all right, so what we see here, number 6 is basically thinking, all right, I got my hips open. If he cuts across the face, I'll be ready to get him. But if he comes behind me to go to this corner route, number 6 either has to swing his hips open like a gate this way and try to chase after him, or you see his head is facing this way. He can flip his head this way, open up his hips, and chase him this way. Now, if he does that the second way, right, if he swings his head from left to right in front rather than completely opening his body and going from left to right behind, he'll basically not be able to see Lemon for a second, right? Right here, you can see he still got Lemon in his peripheral vision right here. He's able to see him. But as soon as he turns his head this way, there's going to be half a second that he's not able to see Lemon. Right now, And as soon as he does, now he sees him in his peripheral here, it's too late. Lemon's already taken this step here, hard enough step to cut across the face, and just absolutely destroyed him. Now the cornerback's got to go back over that left shoulder. He's got no chance. Lemon's all the way on the safety. And then you see the ball skills here. High point, take the hit. It's even better from the other angle. Nope. Let's go full speed so you can see the hit. Bang. You can see the defender is fully lining him up. Doesn't try to go for the ball. Strong hands, and he gets hit full on. Helmet and shoulder pad right to the side. Doesn't matter. Catches it, comes down secure. Doesn't move at all. No chance. That is a tough motherfucker right there. Not the best route here, but that's just so good on the sideline. Let's watch the route one more time. The reason I don't love it, he does a good job, decent job, I'll say, getting around the linebacker Chuck here. You can see just a little shove. But what he needs to do here, he's already got outside leverage. You can see this, right? He needs to push, right? He's facing him up here. He needs to give a little bit more convincing of a left dead leg going this way before really bursting and working in this space. Instead, you can see at full speed, even at half speed, you can see it's just not urgent enough. Right, that's pretty lackadaisical going into that cut. Pretty easy to read. But he had the advantage already. Even though 4 tries to undercut him, it's a perfect throw. And then you can see the ball skills on the sideline. We'll watch it at full speed one more time, then slow it down for the catch. This is like JSN type stuff on the sideline. Being able to make the strong hands catch, get the feet down. Through the swipe, you can see it's not that easy. Here, there's actually a great angle to see the route. He was just never going center here, right? That's terrible salesmanship. When he takes this exaggerated step with his left, right, his body is always facing to the right. Right. This is never going to work. First of all, because he's 5 yards away, he's not going that fast. It's just not that intimidating. But it's just not that exaggerated of a step. The burst out of it isn't great. And then look at the angle he takes. You can see the angle better from here. Right, so he makes that cut. He was right here on the 47.5-yard line. You'd love him to cut hard and go out here, right? And then 4's got no chance to undercut. But instead, he drifts all the way up here, and 4's got an easy chance to just go here and meet him at the ball. But it's a perfect throw and a great catch. Let's go watch the catch in slow-mo one time. You can see it. It's from the back, which isn't ideal, but you'll still see how hard this is. That is great stuff. Extended, super safe, both feet down. Through the cornerback swat. It's awesome stuff. And you can see the versatility, right? He's making high catches. He's making catches on the sideline. He's making those low catches coming back to the ball. Here, let's see the exact same route, right? This is the corner post blind spot route against the same guy. Number 6 just being absolutely destroyed by Lemon here. Corner, right? And you'll see as soon as the defender opens up his hips and turns his head that way, Lemon cuts across the face. Now, this was a bad throw, right? You'd love to see, right, when the ball is released, Lemon is running this way, and this shows some more really, really positive ball tracking ability that Lemon also possesses, right? Because the balls, you want it to come this way. As soon as the ball is released, Lemon has to readjust his path to cut up and go up here, right? That enables the defender to get back in the play. Look at that readjust, and then look at that catch. With the, I mean, it might have been PI. Defender might have got there early. He's draped all over him. And there's the full extension catch over the shoulder. This is elite stuff here. First, the readjustment, right? You can see how early he readjusts. As soon as the ball, right there, he's running on. this path essentially, right, at like maybe a 30-degree angle as soon as the ball is thrown. That next step, he has to readjust from this angle to this angle. And then look at this catch over the shoulder with the defender's hands right in the breadbasket. He comes down with it. Just such strong, secure hands there. Another pretty simple one, good body positioning. Again, you can see he doesn't really have the burst to like run away from defenders on these crossers, but it's enough. Boxes out the guy, and once again, just safety. Two hands, no chance for the defender gets in. He keeps the ball really well right in between his numbers on the front, on his chest, so there's no chance, right? Oftentimes you'll see, in this case, you actually don't want to tuck it under your arm, right? Because then defender can swipe his hand through either way. Instead, he tucks it right to the chest. No chance. Safe catch. Touchdown. All right. Next one. Whew. Okay. This is another example of just a different type of catch, right? Working in that zone. He works a little bit too quickly outside here, but you can see just that snatch, right? What I love about this one is this is at a pretty awkward position, right? Where you don't know if you want to overhand this, kind of like how you would typically catch a football, let's say high, make that diamond up high, or you want to flip, in this case it would be his left arm, where you want to actually invert the arm. You'll see this is how he catches it here. Right, and catch it over the shoulder like this, right? So basically, picture his arm is almost like holding a baby underneath here rather than coming over the top and catching it. And this was the right way to do it. Falls right in, and then look how quickly he tucks it away from the defender and absorbs the hit. That just shows how good he is, how quick he can adjust, and how strong his hands are. Just plucks it. All right, now let's talk about what a lot of people have as the best part of his game. I have it as the second best part of his game, but still, Makai Lemon, elite after the catch with the ball in his hands. Last year, of his 79 receptions, he had 21 of those behind the line of scrimmage. So we're talking about a quarter of his receptions happening behind the line of scrimmage, about 20% of his targets. So we are seeing a fair amount of manufactured targets, but a lot of what he did after the catch was down the field too. In total, we're only seeing a yak per reception of 6.8, which is not that high and was only 6.4 this last year. But really, there's a lot more to it than that. We see it with the 30% missed tackles forced rate, and more importantly, the film. A lot of the reason the yak per reception is down is because he's making a lot of, let's say, highlight catches on the sideline, a lot of more contested catches than you'd typically see from a slot-only guy. Oh, this was a fun play. Double reverse pass, and just watch Lemon work. Jesus Christ. We'll see this again in slow-mo, obviously, but double reverse to the QB, and look. Catch the ball. Whoop. Spin. Another back juke. That's like running back Zachariah Branch type stuff there. 1, 2. Love that agility. Obviously kind of a busted trick play. Once again, you see how quick he is to switch from catch to run, to be able to catch it and immediately react, right? Ball gets to his hands, it's safe, heads up, make a guy miss with quick feet, and power up top. This is why he gets the Deebo Samuel comp, right? Enough power to make people miss, quick enough feet. Another reverse here. See him attack the edge. Oh, it's so good. I mean, that's really running back stuff. You can see what I love is he does try to entice the defenders here, right? He cuts upfield on that angle, cutting upfield here before then breaking out. What that does is it breaks down the defender, forces him to slow down, approach him more at a 90-degree angle, more one-on-one, makes him think that Lemon could go either way. Obviously, he was always gonna hide his legs and bounce us outside. Let's watch a slow-mo here. Look at this leg hide. He had both of his legs. I think we'll be able to see it even better from the all 22 angle. He's both of his legs in his grasp, and he just completely misses. And then a little juke at the end to get an extra 4 yards. All right, let's see. Right there, look at that. Just jumps over the tackle. He's getting contacted on his ankle there. A lot of running backs go down there. The balance is great. Basically using hurdle form, like track hurdling form. One leg up, second leg over from the side to keep the balance, right? And enough balance to then, I'm going to adjust there. Let's string together some moves like a running back. All right, once again, they'll use him on motion, get him a manufactured touch, this time on a bit of an RPO. And there's just some more of that strength, right? It's the little hip fake on the edge to create the outside. You can barely see it, but then throws that stiff arm. That's that toughness. Plays way above his size, right? Again, he's not necessarily like a Deebo Samuel, right? Who's absolutely jacked. Probably, 215, 220 pounds. Lemon's more like 200. But he's also not like a Kadarius Toney, weighing 185, whatever it is. He does have some Toney in his game, I will be honest, just with a lot better hands. And hopefully discipline. Oh, baby. Okay. This play clearly got mislabeled. Apologies for that. But another slot fade. You can see the hands here. We've already seen 3. This is going to be the 3rd slot fade. I guess the first one wasn't in the slot. It was technically out wide, but from a narrow formation. Anyways, first one, you remember, he extended his arm and was able to create separation. The second one, he fought through contact. It was on the back hip. This one is just going to be full extension over the head. Again, no separation. Doesn't matter. Hands on him. And then the late hands. Oh, falling backwards way over the head. That is awesome. I'm excited for this angle. Oh, look at that. Defender has his entire arm on his chest, probably covering his eyes there. And Lemon says, I don't care. Look at how sticky those hands are. One thing I also love, underrated, is look at as he falls. He spins, so the ball isn't landing and hitting first. That's how this ball comes out a lot. Instead, he already has that tucked. That's awesome. Look how high he catches this. And how quickly he tucks. Catch, tuck, safety. Roll, touchdown. Awesome stuff there. Now let's get into his route running, because this is the part of his game that I think might be the biggest flaw as far as translating to be an elite receiver at the NFL level. I know his yards per route run versus man were solid, if not very good. However, I see major issues in terms of his ability to separate versus man, especially in the short and intermediate game. His short area quickness is just not there. His burst is not excellent out of breaks. He rounds his stems a lot without too much dip. Angles he takes isn't great. His salesmanship is below average as well. All of that leads to a basically average route runner. A lot of the ways that he was succeeding versus man is due to his preeminent ball skills, which you've already seen, and his yards after catch ability. However, he's an excellent route runner versus zone. We'll be able to see a lot of that. NFL teams last year played zone on about 70% of snaps, especially versus the slot. You see a lot of man versus kind of heavier sets. So not a bad thing to be elite versus zone by any means. But we'll start with some of the struggles versus man here. That's why I was going slow. We are on slow-mo. All right, so first off, we're going to see him running a zag route. These are some of the easiest routes to run in the game. I'm just confused. This almost might have been zone, kind of a zone match coverage. But what really sucks, where is the commitment to the slant? Look at his balance. Look at his body shape. right? Before he, I guess I'll stop it half a second earlier. Going for the slant, right? Before, he doesn't even take a single step with his left foot, showing any type of explosion towards the slant, right? His body is literally leaning backwards here. There's nothing he was ever going to do except for break this back outside. And the defender just sits on it. Look at that mirror job. It's a bad route. All right, here we'll see him in press man, bottom of the screen. By the way, you'll notice a lot of these routes are going to be against Notre Dame. Leonard Moore, absolute beast, really shut down Lemon for the most part. But this one against Purdue, lined up out wide. And there's just not much there. In this case, you need to be a lot more, right? Okay, so that release, it's okay, but he was playing off you. You have this inside leverage, though. If this is going to be a curl, you need to threaten downfield. You need to really decelerate sharply, put that right foot in the ground and come back. Try to be more physical at the stem. Instead, he really just curls, which isn't what you're supposed to do, and gets absolutely shadowed. I can't even really tell if this is a curl or a dig. That's how poor this route is. No separation. Same game up in the slot here. Wow. I mean, you can just see that could have been a pick six. Definitely should have been an interception, but you'll see the salesmanship is just terrible. Once again, it's the balance and the body shape. You need to accelerate, right? You have to think about this. What is this route trying to show? What are you trying to deceive? Essentially, what he's trying to do here, fake a little post, maybe fake a corner, and then come back. So if you're running a comeback route, it doesn't, he actually barely fakes the post, so maybe not. Maybe it's just a straight comeback. If you're running a comeback route, you need to sell the defensive back that you are running deep or you are running in, because you are going to break back out and shallow. His entire body shape, he doesn't accelerate at all. There's no burst. There's no change of speed to make him think, okay, now I'm going to run by you. Here's my burst step. Instead, he slows down and takes 4 steps to break down and come back to the ball. Look. Body shape is all the way back, and then look how many steps he takes while the defender's just sitting there reading quarterback's eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps for the defender to just jump in front. This is where his lack of athleticism really comes in, because he's not threatening downfield with speed, because he doesn't have that, just burst, change of speed to threaten you downfield. You can sit on some of these comeback routes, and it is by far the worst routes of his games, all these curls or comebacks. I will, by the way, cite some reception perception throughout this time. Please subscribe to them. They're awesome. If you want any more information of theirs, Lemon actually graded out pretty well overall. Against man coverage, he was in the 85th percentile, which is much higher than I expected. So overall, quite good route running grades from Matt Harmon there. Yeah, here you just see again the lack of burst, lack of a really advanced tool set coming off the line of scrimmage here. It's always just going to be a little foot fake and then trying to get past you. But it's just not a lot of burst, right? You'd like to see one of the feet be farther behind the other, almost in a track stance here, to get more of that burst off the calves. He's almost in a, right, both feet are kind of next to each other in a wide stance. You're just not going to be able to get much acceleration off there. Leonard Moore gets his hands on him early, doesn't swipe it off, can't create any separation deep. Another instance where there's just no deceptiveness. There's no burst coming out of the release, right? Again, you're trying to get crossfield on a drag route here. This is probably the easiest route in the game to get separation on, right? All you got to do is get him on your back heel, get him on his heels, and be faster than him, right? Gain that initial leverage, try to establish some physicality, use your hands if you need to. Ideally, just feint outside and come in. But there's no feint. What are you doing on this release, right? This is what I see with a lot of his route running. is a lot of it is just curled, right? There's no hard angles. It's just bend. He lets Moore get his hands on him. He pushes him off, but what's that going to do, right? He's just right on his hip. Right on his hip. This one was an even more aggressive press by Moore, and you see that Lemon has absolutely no chance. Gets punched in the face. Bam. And then just absolutely no way to get off him. It's essentially the same route, right? A drag, shallow cross, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I mean, good press, of course, but once he's here, you're already lost. But what you got to do is you got to take that right arm, swipe underneath, get his hand completely off you. He has no ability to do that. He uses his left arm, but the problem is if you use your left arm, he's still within contact here, and you don't have any force to get off him and break away. And he's still trying to push downfield, right? The only hope there is saying, okay, I'll push him off here, get him backpedaling, and then cut right across here. But, I mean, the rout's already lost at that point. Same game, similar route, more of a slant this time. This time he does a little bit of a triangle release, which I like a little better. At least he's making a sharp angle, right? Previously, he would go just like this. This time, he's going, oh, I'll fake this way, then go here, right? So get your feet moving this way, get a little bit of separation. The problem is, it feels like he's just like feigning in that direction just for the sake of it. Right? He's not actually changing his body shape at all. He's just putting his foot to the right. Right? But his whole body was still always going to the left. So there's really just no nuance, no salesmanship. Right? You putting your right foot here doesn't do anything unless there's a threat of you actually going to the right. And to actually go to the right, you need to have your left foot swing around. And if your left foot's always on this side of your body, behind you, and your body motion and head and hips are all going this way, it's really easy to cover. All right, tries to swim, get in front a little bit, but it's just good defense. I mean, Moore's a beast, but it's not great. You're going to see a lot of good defenders playing man coverage in the NFL, even in the nickel, right? A lot of what he did in the nickel is against the third best college cornerback. First of all, the third best NFL cornerback on a team is going to be a lot better than that, but also you see a lot of better players playing the nickel in the pros. Don't need to analyze basically the same thing again, but you can see this is the fifth time this game that Moore shut him down on a crossing route from the slot. Getting his hands on him early, no nuance in the release, no solution to burst away once he stopped. I will see with Lemon again. One interesting thing to note is in the slot, he lines up against press coverage way off the line sometimes. You'll see here, line of scrimmage is just in front of the 46-yard line, and he's all the way back behind the 48-yard line, more than 2 yards, just because he's doesn't love dealing with press. Let's just put it like that. Another play leading to an interception here, largely due to the poor route. Obviously, if you're the quarterback, you don't throw this given the route, but you're expecting him to win here. So, layered out route. He's starting with slight inside leverage here, but basically even. What he needs to do is either threaten inside to get outside positioning, or have enough physicality, or have a sharp enough cut to not let the defender undercuts him. He fails on all three counts. Let's watch it. Okay, so the first step is inside, right? That's fine. That's good, right? You want him to shift inside. However, the second step is straight up. So it's so easy for the defender to shadow him, right? You need the first two steps to come inside here. That was weird. Right, you need to go one step here, another step here, so he has to slide and actually meet you outside. Instead, what he gets is as he slides to meet him, Lemon is already coming up, so now he's meeting him even. Right? The first step is to the left, second step is up, so now he's even, and his body, look at it slanted, it's already so clearly pushing outside. There's no way that Lemon could go except for push outside here. So he failed number one, he didn't force inside at all. Now, he extends the stem a little bit, fails number two because he's not dictating the terms here. The defender's arms are on him. He doesn't have any way to push off to really sink into him either with his core or his hands to push off and create separation. So he's right on his back, and when he does, at the top of the stem, there's also no threat outside. There's no threat up because he's leaning on him. It's so clear to feel that he's forcing in, that he's coming outside, that when he breaks outside, the stem lags a little bit, goes upfield. It's too easy to undercut. Again, he cut at the 40, yet he's at the 43 when the ball is coming to him. That's just not good enough. It's not a sharp enough stem. Watch it one more time on full speed. But of course, it was not all bad for Lemon in the short intermediate game. Against man and zone, he did have a fair amount of wins. A lot of it using just his physicality and quickness off the line. Not a lot of nuance, mostly against worse competition, which is a bit of a concern, but we'll see. Now, this was one of the few wins that he did have on Leonard Moore. This release right off the line of scrimmage here. Now, what I like about this is previously he was taking, just this kind of circuitous route here and then up. He wasn't actually doing anything urgent and selling outside. A lot of what he does isn't particularly urgent. It's a lot more fluid. This time, you can see it's just with a really quick feet, gets more on his heels. Let's watch it in full speed. Bang. It's wide open. Should have been targeted. Here's another win that we see against Moore. Again, you see the bang, and this time you see the hands come in. So it's another triangle release. Kind of, not really. Right, so it's a little bit slower. It's not the first step out and then straightening where it's easy to square up. He's squared up at the beginning, and then you throw the fake. Bang, and then look at this hand swipe. Get off me. That's what I wanted to see. And then he breaks the tackle, as we know. Great in the open field. But it's really this hand swipe. It's the approach straight on, and then it's the hand swipe that makes the difference. All right, let's go to the next play. All right, once again, for some type of press, again, you see is about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. And this is an interesting route, right? I mean, he doesn't really win it, right? He has outside leverage the whole time, but he does a good job of being patient, right? Wins gets vertical off the line. That's almost bad in a comeback route, right? You almost want them on top of you. But when he stops here, it's a quicker decel, and what I really like is he works back to the football. So this isn't a clean win. It's not that impressive of a win, but nonetheless, very quarterback-friendly, working back to the football, and a nice low catch, as always. Now he's against off coverage, and you can see the quick feet. I like the approach here. Comes off the line, slanted slightly in, right? He's already got outside leverage off the line. Already got outside leverage, but by slanting in, he's going to force the defender to sink in a little bit. Then just those hard footsteps, he does get the help of a pick, but he was open anyways, and now we see more yak. If you thought the yak section was a little slow earlier, it's because a lot of it's going to happen in this route running section too. When he does create separation, obviously that gives him a chance to break tackles. Now we see some of his work against zone. He's so good at sitting in between linebackers. Because everything he does is at a pretty slow pace, right? We see the rollout here. That's going to change the angles of what's going to work for the quarterback, right? Instead of him sitting in the pocket here, where you can throw it right here, if he's rolling out here, this player is going to move here. You got to move with him. Sinks, stops. Right, could have easily kept pushing towards the middle of the field. Sees where the hole is going to be. As soon as he clears this backer, he stops. Clean catch. He's great on these little snag routes. It's what makes him such a good chain mover. 13+% first down per route run. Love it. I mean, the strong hands at the end, of course, but he wins on this route several times. So it's zone defense, but off the line of scrimmage. I like this hesitation. Nice little dead leg, right? You can see he's actually straight up and down now, not leaning in, right? Previously, his shoulders would already be facing this way. This time, they were facing slightly this way, so it's a little more realistic. Doesn't matter because it's zone defense. Comes across. His drag route's over. He's like, all right, where's the hole? We got 1, 2, 3 guys over here. We got him too shallow. So there's really only one guy here. That means the space is going to be right in between them. Just got to target this zone here. Let's get physical, right? This zone here. Let's get physical, establish contact, and let him hit my back shoulder. Give him a little shove. Create that space. Some of that physicality, right? If you look at it, this is actually the perfect vantage point because you can see there's no angle here. But as soon as 10 takes a step forward to cover this guy crossing in, you'll see him in a second, that's going to open up this entire space. So you get a little shove here. Let me occupy that space. Clean hands. As always, he's got the quick tuck. Let's see it. Shove. Pluck and tuck. Touchdown. All right, once again, looks like this is going to be against zone, just based on the alignment. We'll see. Yeah, I love the angle he takes to get up that seam. Now, if he was always attacking the seam here, which I think he was, it could have been an ad-lib from a slant, but it looks like it was. He got off-centered a little bit. Some guys would choose to go over around this way, but by going under this way, he is able to entice this defender in, make this defender sink in to cover the slant, and then he basically turns it into a slant seam. Right, so if he goes over the top this way, it's going to be covered up, right? This defender can just drop with him. But by cutting underneath, it's no longer his responsibility, right? If he goes this way, it's a 2-on-2. But by going this way, this defender's like, all right, that's not my job. My job is now to cover him coming in. We got this guy dropping in, this guy dropping here. We'll be fine. But as soon as he gets here, he reads the zone well. Great understanding. Cuts straight up field. You'll see the dropping. This might have been a lineman or guy shadowed over the line. Can't get there. Good enough touch. Finds the hole. Really quarterback-friendly route. Love him against the zone there. Against my boys, Michigan. Wow, that looks remarkably similar to the route we saw earlier. That he made that like JSN type catch on the sideline. Another great catch here. Avoids the chuck, right? Doesn't slow him down at all. He's got 6 on him. He's got to threaten the middle again. Let's see if he does a better job with that. Not really. Honestly, it's kind of just finding the hole in the zone, right? It's not even that much of a sharp cutting. But again, we see the awesome catch on the sideline. That's insane. This should have been in the hand section because that and that is insane. What an animal. Love his ball skills. This is why he can. When I say his slot versatility, I mean he can run any type of route from the slot, and it's because he has that body control, that extension and ability to catch fully extended on the sideline. Same exact play. Same exact play here. This time, what I really like is he doesn't take it fully to the sideline. He locates the ball, right? Because as this throw's coming, 8's dropping back. He's going slowly enough. He can say, oh, adjust. I mean, if you look at how everyone else is sliding in the rain, and he's always under control. He's able to take those 2 steps. Just find the holes. Cover 2 here. This is always where the hole is going to be. So earlier, we ran a comeback style, wasn't effective. That's because he wasn't able to get the defender focused on him driving vertically. This time we see a lot more urgency in his route. We see an actual acceleration here. Looks like he's trying to threaten the fade. Right, look at his balance. He's pushing forward. Look at that acceleration. Look, he's looking back for the ball like it's supposed to be coming out on a go ball out here. Decel. Look at the angle that he takes on the decel, the angle of his calves and his shins. There, decel. That's what you want to see, right? This angle. Comes back to the ball, creates a ton of space. This is why you see a lot of upside in him. Again, that's a deep comeback from the outside against Penn State, a good team. This might be Northwestern. Interesting. Not as good of a team, but still. Very nice route. Shows some of his upside from the outside. All right, now let's see some of his deep wins. I've already shown you some of them in the contested catch game. Really, he had way more deep wins than you'd expect for someone of his profile. We saw some of the corner posts that he hit against Iowa. Overall, in terms of his deep receptions, in 2025, he had 24 targets and 16 receptions, 20-plus yards downfield. That is insane. 22% of his targets, and he caught 2/3 of them, 22 yards per route run going deep. Let's watch a few more of them here. Whew. That is that decel and sharp angles that we love to see. Threatens the crosser, sinks way down, and then takes a much sharper angle, right? He wasn't curling this. He wasn't bending this. He was angling it, right? He's coming here, here. He's not coming here. So there's no chance to catch up. Creates a ton of separation. Not his fault. It's a terrible throw. That decel can be really effective. It's just not consistent. Top of the screen here. This just shows some of his speed. I mean, there's a little bit of an angle to the crosser, but really it's just speed here. Good timing on the post, but just runs away from this guy. All right, here. We've seen him do the post corner this time. Sorry, the corner post. This time it's the post corner. And it is awesome, right? Again, what you see here is that he's really committing to it. You see much better salesmanship. When he's hitting this post, he accelerates, and look at his body, his head looking back, his hips facing this way, his shoulders facing this way, and then it's that hard left foot. And again, you saw it. Look at the turf coming up. That means he dragged his foot well. He got good bend on his leg. Now he's open here. Ball's not coming. He sees the scramble, right? He was expecting a go ball up here. He sees the scramble. He's like, shit, I know I got to work back to my quarterback. Turns his shoulders, finds the ball. Great catch on the sideline, as always. Good field awareness. Look right here. He thinks it's coming deep. Flip of the hips, locates the ball. Absolutely love that. That's another JSN type play. All right, this might be the last play here. Another corner post. We've seen that. Works back to the football in the scramble drill. That's awesome. Similar type of thing, right? Kind of the inverse, where he's running the corner post and then comes back. But, right, let's get in the blind spot. Not really a blind spot there, but still cuts across his face, wide open. But he sees him scrambling right. He says, shit, I got to work back, help him on the sideline. There's that awareness versus the zone. Works back, quarterback friendly, and obviously makes a very good safe catch, as always. So we see a guy with a lot of traits, some things to work on, but there's a reason Makai Lemon's going to be a first-round pick. There's a reason he is my wide receiver one. Right now, pretty clearly, I'd say. Hope you enjoyed this film breakdown. More to come soon.